John Kuvakas here. I want to talk to you about the new Brooklyn Collector's Guide. But before I can do this, I got to kind of get my London on here. So, I've got a Starbucks London teacup. I've got some Earl Grey tea in there, cream Earl Grey, for those of you that are fans of Earl Grey. I think you can appreciate that. And I think I'm ready. You know, as hobbyists, in particular as Brooklyn collectors, we love the paraphernalia that comes with the hobby. And one of my favorite things is always a nice collector's guide. I collect collector's guides. And I'm sure there are plenty of you that have some bookshelf somewhere that has some books about the cars on them and collector's guides and catalogs and all that sort of thing. I've got a couple here. And we've had some pretty good efforts over the years at having a Brooklyn Collector's Guide. Here's one from 1991 by John Hammock and David Angel, legends of our hobby. And, you know, it's a complete listing of Brooklyn's made up until then. Here's another one, 74 to 89. There's some pictures in there you can see. You know, these are things that add to our enjoyment of the hobby, and I just like it. Here's another one with some decent pictures in it, and the most recent one that I have in my collection is this one, which came out in 2007. It's nicely done. You know, there are leaf pages in here that can be, other pages can be put in, taken out, so on and so forth, and again, it's a comprehensive list of all the cars that were made up until then. So when I heard that Gianluigi Cappi was working on a new collector's guide about a year and a half, 2 years ago. It was a little bit longer when we first heard the rumblings on this. I thought, well, it'll be great. It'll be another collector's guide that we can put with our collection. And so when it came out, I was surprised because it is this big. It's a huge book. It's heavy. It weighs about 5, maybe 6 pounds or so. But it's got a really high-end binding. It's got tremendous pages in it. It's high gloss, high quality paper, and it's got over 1,200 Brooklyns in it. Now, there are all sorts of Brooklyns. There's Brooklyn Collection, the Brooklyn Limited Collection, which is now the 30s and 40s, and the Brooklyn Collection is now the 50s, 60s, 70s, and onward. It's got all of them in there. It's got the U.S. Model Mint, the CSV collection, the International Police collection, the Pink collection, the Vatican collection. I mean, everything's in there. It's even got like the sidewalk diorama pieces, which I think haven't gotten the credit they deserve. There's the hot rods are in there. There are code 2s, code 3s. David Angel has a section. Our friend John Roberts has a section. There's even a section with Gianluigi's code 3s in it. And it's not just a list of cars. They've got pictures of every Brooklyn ever made. I have no idea how they compiled all these pictures, but they're high quality pictures. They're detailed. And of course it has what we would expect of a collector's guide. It has the list of the number made and the colors made and how many of each color and that sort of thing. But it also has a description of every model. This is just fantastic. And you have to go no further than to look at Brooklyn number 1, the Pierce Arrow, and Brooklyn number 2, the Tucker, to see all the variations are there, even the bottom, so that we can see the different chassis that number 1 went through. All the different variations on the Tucker, and the newer Tucker is there in the back as well. So there's just an incredible array of material. It is the definitive Brooklyn guide. Now, I love the book. It's not cheap, but there's a lot of book here. It's something you'd be proud to have on your coffee table or on your bookshelf. Something that I'm sure if you're an avid Brooklyn collector, you will go back to time and time again. Now, there's one problem that all collector's guides have, and as soon as the company that it's focused on comes out with a new model, the collector guide becomes obsolete. Now, we expect that, so, you know, we can't demand too much from the collector's guide, but Brooklyn knew that even as this went to publication, that an update would be required. And so what I love about this is Brooklyn has really reached out and taking care of people like you and me, because they issued an update, and here it is. It's a high-quality update. It's got an error page in here that tells us where there might have been some different production numbers that have come to light, different details that have come to light. It's got the error page in there, and the typical page, and you can see from those pages, one that I have right over here, that the newer models, the ones that were not in the original one, are highlighted in yellow. This is exhaustive from the moment this one was published until now. And the fantastic thing about this is if you bought your guide from the Brooklyn factory, they have sent you one of these free of charge. I think it's a gesture of them saying, well, we value our collectors. I know that's how I felt when I got one. They have not only the hard copy, which came free of charge, but there's a soft copy as well that you can download and put in your files, and a little easier to cut and paste pictures and that sort of thing. So I just think it's a wonderful gesture. I think it's Brooklyn saying we are going to remain customer-oriented, client-oriented as we go forward. As we all know, there's some new directions happening. There's a lot of new things happening with the models. There's a lot of excitement over the detail and the finish, and some of the newer things that are coming out have stirred a lot of interest. There is one section in here, if you have it at home, I'd like you to go and turn to it on page 320, 321. There's a little section on the NB American Heritage Automobile Museum in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Now, that's the Nicola Bulgari collection in Allentown. It's what the Brooklyn Limited Collection is based on. And that collection is going to be in our thoughts and in our minds very shortly, maybe a little bit bigger than it is right now. So read up on it. Read up on the people that have put it together and the incredible collection of cars that are up there. I think this is a fantastic book. I know if you don't have it, you will enjoy it. And if you have it, you already know what I'm talking about.
One more thing before I go. If you take a look on the front of the Brooklyn Collector's Guide, it says Volume 1. Now, you would think Volume 2 would be the updated version, but no. They're going to continue printing Volume 1, including the update, so the new ones will have the update included. Volume 2 is going to be a Lansdowne Rob Eddy Collector's Guide, and we're hoping to see that before Christmas, so keep your eyes open on it. It's going to be just as fabulous. Thanks.